that theme song is so dumb. But I still love it so much. Yo, how's everyone doing? It's your boy Flobo. This is What's Up Flobo After Hours. It's Monday night, 10 p.m. every week so far. I'm not sure what this is. I'm never sure what the things I work on are. But this is an experiment. I'm so glad you guys are with me. This is simulcasting on the YouTube. What up, fam, on YouTube? The people on the Twitch. What up, fam, on the Twitch? Let me know how you feel about the show. Like it on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. All that jazz. Still kind of an experiment. Still kind of in beta phase. What's Up Global After Hours takes a bit of a twist, a bit of a flip with the What's Up Flobo show to talk about things that are happening around the world. It's not quite sport, it's not quite comedy, just me rapping with you people out there. And people are in the chat, man. Charlene, what up, Charlene? Haywood Wong, new gear. Yeah, I got so jealous because I actually technically have a better microphone than Jack Farmer has, but my old setup, I couldn't get it near to me, so I sounded flat. Whereas Jack Farmer sounded all sexy and nice and majestic. So I'm just checking this out. This is all experimental for me to try new things. I've converted my bedroom to a full-on studio. I got like some. I'm drilling holes in the. You can't see. I don't know why I'm pointing off camera, but I'm trying to drill some holes here on this other side of this table now. I got a bigger table here to get some like full lighting on and stuff like that. So we're just having time of our life, man. If you guys interact with the chat, I'll totally answer questions if you guys are into that kind of thing. Because I guess I can answer wrestling questions now too. Wrestling with your questions, the show I do with that same Jack Farmer guy is dead and buried. But make sure that you follow him as he tries to make Elite of the Week the next show that he wants to be a part of on his Jack Farmer channel. Oh, real quick, let me get some housekeeping out the way. If you guys know, I sell my t-shirts over at flopito.threadless.com. And this is not an advertisement, but it kind of is. My other side thing, New Amsterdam Radio, the sister podcast to this show, is where I sit down and talk with creatives about how they do their thing creatively, has its first shirt. So check it out at flopito.threadless.com. Yeah, Charlene, let's talk comedy. Okay, yeah, whatever you want, man. Brian Callen, I think he's fine. I don't mind him. I don't hate him. He's kind of in the middle for me. Again, I'm not the authority on comedy. I don't want this show to be like this guy sucks and that guy sucks. But yet I haven't worked in months. Solid performer. I don't know. I feel like every comic has like stats in my head. Like there's like jokes, there's like delivery, there's like using the whole instrument. There's a whole thing about that. I don't really think Brian excels in any one of those to me. But if someone said, "Hey, look, I got tickets to a Brian Callen concert," I'm like, or a virtual concert now, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, he's cool. He's all right. Yeah, man. Haywood Wong says James Lott in my corner. James Lott's a cool, is a good guy. We're on too many projects to speak of. Just got on his left-handed show. It's a podcast there. It's called Left Handed and a Lot to Say. LOTT, which was interesting because I always hounded him because I was on all of his shows before. Like I did his. Well, I can't talk about shows in the future, but I've done songs with him. I've done extra connections with him, but I always like haggled him. And I was like, look, bro, I've never done your left-handed show. I'm left-handed. Come on, James Lott. And I guess he got tired of me complaining, so I was on a show that came out today. It's called Left-Handed with a Lot to Say. I talk about how it was different for me growing up in a Caribbean household where that sort of thing is frowned upon, being left-handed, but it's all good. Haywood Wong, yeah, Nikki and Bree, their moms for first time, second time, multiple times. Hey, look, motherhood and parenthood are fantastic gifts. Ones that I have not yet received. It is impeccable timing. They're there one day apart from each other. That's pretty cool. You know what? I wish them all the best. We all talked about this once on that Cafe Con Leslie channel. I'm putting all my friends over. Leslie Colon has a channel called Cafe Con Leslie, and she had a women's evolution kind of group, panel, and the Breeze came up, and I was not a huge fan of the Bella twins, but I'm not a hater either. I'm kind of someone who's like, all right, they were there. If they're in the Hall of Fame, cool. If they're not, cool. But I won't deny that their influence has brought so many people to the sport. So I'm totally about that. And hey, if their next chapter in life is to be loving mothers, multiple kids in Bree's case, then more power to them. That's for sure. Charlene, that is a hard question. So Charlene's saying, for those of you on the audio only of the podcast, Charlene's asking, who do I like as a current comic? And that's a whole different uh, kind of question, because there's comics you like entertainment wise. Like, oh, I like to sit there, like I would pay top dollar to see Trevor Noah live. Not necessarily the Daily Show, because that's a product of writers, and a lot of times I say I love Trevor Noah. And people say, "Well, he's not that funny in the Daily Show," and I disagree. But I think that's a product of writers. Because I remember one of my favorite comedy albums of all time is Trevor Noah's Crazy Normal. This is where he became a huge star in Africa, but right as he was getting his foot started in the United States. He had an album called Crazy Normal, and that one broke down South African politics and made it in a way that this kid from America got it, understood it, and was able to laugh along with people who were native to South Africa. And that's just the stuff. And he also had racial comedy, he also had entertainment comedy. And I thought that was really cool that he was able to use his platform to educate. Chappelle is one of the best ever to do it. I know it's an easy thing to say. Oh, Chappelle Show, he's great. I remember the stand-up specials, the Def Comedy stand-up specials, even the Chappelle Show. I mean, that stuff. As a writer, it's great. As a performer, it's great. That's someone that uses the entire instrument. That I'm a firm believer that as a comic, it's your second responsibility to tell jokes. Your first responsibility is to entertain, and Dave Chappelle is a perfect example of that. And that he can go 5, 10, 15 minutes without cracking a joke, but you're enthralled. You're listening, like, where's this going? Where's this going? And I think once you hook your audience, then you can do, like, make them laugh. Like, in wrestling terms, too. Like, if people are bought into your character, you don't have to do as much in the ring. You know what I mean? Not saying that a super kick won't make people pop, but if you're coming back from injury, for example, at the Royal Rumble, you're coming out and you do a little, like, 3-punch spot and someone falls over the top rope, everyone will go nuts, and you haven't put anyone through a table, because that's kind of what the deal is, with that, as far as the character side of things. uh, I didn't know Chappelle's almost in the real world. Yeah. Look, man, Hayward was asking about Nick Cannon. See, this is an example of someone. I don't know Nick. I never met the dude. Wasn't quite the biggest fan of his style. Wasn't quite the biggest fan of his stand up. Is he an entertainer? Yes. Is he talented? Yes. His biggest rap song is Gigolo, which everyone remembers as an R. Kelly song, which should probably tell you where he stands on the music side. Is he a cool businessman? Yeah, there was a time where he bought Radio Shack from bankruptcy. Couldn't find a way to make it work, but I thought it was pretty cool that you found something and you dug it up. But I can't say I sat down and saw a Nick Cannon special and was like, oh, wow, now it's great, but the cast is what sells it, not not Nick Cannon. But speaking of purchases, you guys hear about this today? The XFL, the football league, is being bought by an ownership group led by Danny Garcia and The Rock. I don't know how to handle this, man. If you guys know about me, if you guys watch the other episodes of Wassup, Flobo, I've been a big fan of the XFL. I didn't like NFL that much. I think it gets bogged down with rules to the point where sometimes a game will just stop. And people will do a play, they will stop, they'll look at the ref and go, "Is that legal? Is that cool?" But the XFL was fun. It was on Saturday mornings at like 10 a.m. on the West Coast. I rooted for my hometown Guardians. You guys should check this out if you have the time. There's 8 teams in the XFL, and each team had their own theme song, which I thought was pretty cool. And each theme song had a little bit of local flavor in there. And so, like, Dallas Renegades were one of my favorite songs. Team, the New York Guardians, my hometown team, the one I actually rooted for, had a fantastic theme song. So I was kind of sad when it kind of rolled up. I kind of figured that it would be in a holding pattern, but they were a young league. They weren't getting paid in their TV deals, and so they closed up shop, and a lot of people lost their jobs. Now, I'm not sure what that is. As far as like, will anyone buy into an XFL 3.0? Is an XFL 3.0 worth it? But The Rock, even though he is one of many people, and even though it's actually Danny Garcia's spearheading this, Rock said so himself, his ex-wife, for people those like the gossip side of things. Will people buy into a third XFL? I will say the second one was a lot more entertaining than the first. Um, so the thing is with the TV deal, hey, what is that? It was for free. Like the TV deal in ESPN and Fox, where they weren't paying for any of the rights of the games. They basically gave them ad space. They said, "Look, carry the games for free, and you can cover the ad space, and we'll leverage the fact that these names are nationally televised to build an audience." So that's why there's no money involved. But yeah, I think that would be the hook to keep if Fox or ESPN keeps those same deals. But frankly, the whole world wants to be in the rock business. Why wouldn't you? I feel like The Rock and Shaq endorse everything on the planet. I don't know if you get car insurance or pizza or Icy Hot or Gold Bond or Under Armour, The Rock or Shaq. You know what I mean? So I think that's not an issue. The issue now is the facilities, getting teams to get on board. I mean, St. Louis really are about the Battlehawks. What if team names are going to be there? Is it just going to be like an XFL branded thing? We don't quite know. But I'm so glad that this style of football is back. I hope they keep most of the rules from the last time, at least the Rockets of the olive branch to get some of the personnel, some of the old members, leaders on the team. Hopefully, crossing fingers, but hard to tell in 2020 with the virus and all that. The pandemic world we are living in, what's going to happen with that. But I'm glad. I'm glad. And this is an article from MSN Sports. Real quick before I move on, this is actor and former professional wrestler Dwayne Johnson has teamed up with business partner Danny Garcia and Redbird Capital, a private investment firm run by former Goldman Sachs executive Gary Cardinal, to buy the Spring Football League. So, I mean, they got money. Goldman Sachs don't mess around with bad investments. I mean, they're pretty solid. And they bought not only the XFL but Alpha Entertainment, which was the Vince McMahon spinoff, for 15 million. So yeah, it's pennies on the dollar. It's going to take a lot of more uh, extra investment to make that work. But hey, whatever, you know. Uh, Charlene says Shaq supports the general because they gave him insurance when no one else was poor. I didn't even know that was true. Yeah, in fact, that's pretty cool, man. That's awesome. I almost think about that, you know. Just gather round. This is Flobo story time. All right. So for those of you who've been following me on YouTube or Instagram, whatever. Long story short, I used to be a really heavy kid, right? I was a heavy kid. I was a heavy adult, and by the time I was 24 years old, I was about 375 pounds. And what that means is I wore a size 6 extra large t-shirt and a size 56 waist jean. So that's pretty large, right? I mean, like, you can fit my body in a pant leg, I guess. And I remember the day. It was February 26, 2009. I celebrated like a holiday. Instagram, I do a little like Transformation Tuesday thing. Because that was a day had a membership at a 24-hour fitness, a gym that wouldn't close. And I was like, look, I'm 24 years old. I'm going to change my life. And thankfully, it stuck. Right? Thankfully, I can say, but I mean, look, most people who struggle with weight loss struggle for a long time. Where I'm going with this. So, well, as I was working out, you don't really have much clothes to work out. You have a couple jeans, a couple sweatshirts. And then when you go to like the stores, once you get a certain size, 4X, 5X, you're basically just buying sweatpants. Like you're buying like sweatpants like from Russell Athletic or Glidden or something like that. And to this day, I can't wear sweatpants because I feel like they're struggle pants. Anyway, Reebok was the only brand at that time that had the same like tech material, the same Under Armour material, as you call it, the same kind of dry wicking material, the same compression shorts at 4, 5, 6, and 7XL, when other people pretty much stopped at 3. And I thought that was pretty awesome. And I said, if I ever get to be in a position to endorse a sports brand, I'll probably look at Reebok first, if they'll have me. Look, I will sell out with the quickness. If a Kappa wants to pay me $1 billion, I will. But when you're in it, when you're in the spit, as they say, you do remember the brands that threw you a bone. So props to Shaq. I didn't know Shaq was about that. That's pretty awesome on Shaq's case, you know. But yeah, I'm so excited to see if XFL come back. Derek Fisher's in the chat. How's it going? What? Haywood Wong's doing some jokes in there. Yeah, if you guys have open questions, let me know. I'm just sitting there chatting, rapping with you guys. Unless we can talk about something else that's going on in my life today. If you guys checked out the first episode of What's Up Flobo After Hours, this is. I'll get to that in a minute, Haywood. I will get to that in a minute. So if you listened about the first episode of What's Up Flobo After Hours, I was talking about my journey, and I hate using that word, in public office. I ran for the neighborhood council of my city as a business representative, and it was a three-man race. Two men ran, and I came in last place. So I was eliminated from competition, and it hurt, because they always tell you we need new people, we need fresh blood, we need diverse people in politics. But what I saw is what I saw, and status quo rules the day. But get this, drinking tea, by the way, for those asking. I got a call. I got a call from the one of the business representatives, and he's saying due to the pandemic in his business, he had to like step away. Would I be interested in taking his spot in the middle of a term for the same thing I ran for and lost? And I was kind of debating that back and forth. On one hand, I'm like, look, man, the city didn't want me, the neighborhood didn't want me. Oh, go screw yourself. And the other side, I was like, well, I mean, look, if I take on the job for 7 months and I suck, I can walk away. I don't have to run again. I can still say I was in politics. I can still say I did my service to my community. So I was going back and forth with that for a couple of days about what I'm going to do. And if I do go back into politics, do I re-release my campaign shirt, the Flobo Boys in the Hood with the palm trees on it? Like, ooh, what do I do? But it just came out of the blue, and it makes you wonder about like what 2020 is supposed to be. If I would have told you what would happen this August, last August, I totally would have been like, nah, man, I'll be DJing weddings and on AfterBuzz. But there's no AfterBuzz, and weddings aren't here, and I'm getting asked to go back into politics. It's a crazy time. But it's Monday night. We're talking about Monday night things. I just got off watching Monday Night Raw. For those of you asking too on the wrestling side of things, so I watch the shows on Sling TV, and I can get the East Coast feed for USA, but not Fox. So that's why I can never get SmackDown East Coast. I'm always the last one to see SmackDown live tweeting. And I love live tweeting. If you guys check me out on Twitter at Flobo Boys, that's where I basically live snark Raw. If there's something funny, I mention it because I'm a comedian, and hopefully you laugh and enjoy it. If not, then my bad. But tonight on Raw, Monday Night Wrestling is predetermined, right? But there is now a Raw Underground. I'm not sure what it is. It's kind of okay. So for those of you who don't watch wrestling, you know what wrestling is. You know what UFC, what MMA, what shoot fighting is. Raw Underground was basically a show within a show. I'm not sure what Raw Underground is as far as a mechanic, but it seems like in Underground it's more of like fight till your opponent can't defend himself and a ref says it's done. Now there's a bunch of reasons why they're doing this. Maybe it's almost like an Impact Wrestling where they realize there's not much time in the day to do tapings at an arena. So let's find a second site to have some matches and let's give it a conceit. So at Impact, it's called Wrestle House, and they're doing almost like a reality show thing. Maybe Raw Underground is their Wrestle House. Maybe it's their, yeah, I'll see you tonight at the Underground. Maybe it's a one-time thing. Maybe it was a way to get the Hurt Business something to do now that Shelton Benjamin doesn't have the 24/7 title, and now that Apollo Crews randomly shows up with no explanation to beat MVP and win the United States champion. Look, I like Apollo, but this is so weird, you know? But I don't know if the Hurt Business have something to do. Maybe they're in this Raw Underground type deal. I don't know. I'm willing to wait for it, even though that Shane McMahon kind of ran its course. by last fall. It was cool to see someone outside of the weekly Raw wrestling world come back and do it. Like it really felt like Shane made it happen with his money, you know? So that was kind of fun. And poor Dio Madden, Dio Madden gets knocked out by Shelton Benjamin tonight. I don't know if he still goes by Dio Madden anymore. He got F5 by Brock Lesnar last year and disappeared from the commentary table. So shout out to the great Black Otaku. That's his Twitch handle. Tell him Flobito sent you. I follow him there. Got stretched out by Shelton Benjamin. So it's pretty. So okay. So anyone's kind of telling me I should go for the politics thing. I'm still debating it. I'll be honest with you. On one hand, it's cool to say I serve my community and be in the politics, but then it's another time commitment. So it takes me away from other things. Um, yeah, SmackDown on Fox. It's kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, the ACDC stuff has grown on me. The half step is what they call the half step is when they take the camera. So cameras work on frames per second. And so, whereas video cameras are usually 29 frames, what they do is called a half step. So they basically go more than 24, but less than 29 to give it more of that realistic feel. That's why SmackDown looks a little different. You can tell it more when we're in arenas. I love the whole presentation of it on Fox. I love it being treated as a sport. I love the fact that Progressive is a sponsor. But Sling's local channels are where you are located. So I tried changing it. I tried hacking it. They're like, nope, as long as you're in Los Angeles, you're going to get Los Angeles local channels. And that's why I see SmackDown. That's why I even debate even doing them. Because by the time I'm in the SmackDown conversation, the West Coast audience has either already watched the East Coast feed or have skimmed it and said I'm good. But I love watching the shows. So the way I always see it is if I'm naturally watching the shows, then I'm live tweeting it. So I don't make it a job. I like watching Raw, so I'll do it. I love watching NXT, so I'll do it. This is why if I ever decide to do an after show, it'll probably be NXT. But that's a whole other thing. That's like last week waiting to happen. And sure, I know there's ways to stream things illegally, and I may have a couple sites in my backyard, back pocket, backyard, back space. But I don't know. Yeah. Derek Fisher says, I liked it when SmackDown was on USA back when it was on 5 p.m. It was better. Yeah, I like it too. Because one, I'll get the East Coast feed. I got kind of used to Tuesday nights. I got used to Tuesday night SmackDown. Friday is cool because I'm kind of a homebody. As much as it looks like on the internet that I'm out doing stuff, I'm usually at home. So I'm home to watch SmackDown. But it does feel like you're missing out. Even with a pandemic, it does feel like you're missing on a Friday night watching, especially if it's a week episode. Like this SmackDown that just passed, today is August 3rd. So the July 31st SmackDown was amazing. But there's some SmackDowns where just like, oh my God, I should be doing something else. I should be playing Rock League or going for a run or doing sit-ups or something. Because, I got that quarantine weight all set a bunch. But, yeah, I kind of missed that whole SmackDown thing, but it's all good. And yeah, I appreciate it. Haywood doesn't give me spoilers, but I'm still kind of debating if it even makes sense to even watch it, But also, though, I'm not the kind of guy to get upset about spoilers, so don't feel bad. Don't feel like compelled or whatever. Don't be like, oh, sorry, Flobo. I'll say spoilers in Twitter, but my philosophy is, and it comes true with wrestling and movies and everything, is that if the movie is good, the spoilers should not matter. I remember watching Fight Club, and I didn't Fight Club was that okay. And someone came by when I was watching and told me the ending, and I was like, okay, well, it doesn't make this any better or worse. But when someone tells me a twist in like an episode of The Flash, a show I love, then I'm like, I want to see it. I want to see how it got there. So it doesn't matter to me that much, but it does suck on the West Coast. There's an advantage in the West Coast. Football games and basketball games are like 10 o'clock in the morning sometimes on Sundays. But yeah, a lot of stuff kind of sucks about that. So I'm looking at my agenda here. So Wednesday, back to the politics thing real quick. Wednesday is a general meeting for my neighborhood council. And I'm trying to debate whether I should do it, whether I should take it. Most of you guys in the chat say I should go for it. I just don't know what that means. And if I do take it and I love it, do I reapply? Do I rerun? I don't know. If you want to hear about my bad side of the experience, check out episode 1. a What's Up Flobo After Hours and really go more in depth into that, you know. So, in other news today, let's talk about this TikTok thing, man. TikTok. What? What? I'll be honest with you. I'm at that age where I should be over social medias, you know. But I had a TikTok for a couple months until I heard about what was talked about, the security issues, you know. For those of you who don't know, TikTok is a cool app. You can try it. You can download it. The big debate is it's owned by a Chinese company, and by law, Chinese companies have the right to ask any app on Chinese soil for data because they're a communist country and you have to comply. And for a while there, other countries have banned it. I think India has banned TikTok just because, according to the Chinese government, could be a risk. There's no reason why a foreign government should have access to your information. That's what the general consensus is. Now, there was talk about the United States banning said app, which is the reason why I uninstalled it, really. I mean, for two reasons. One, whereas on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, it's easy to be like, I'm gonna do things about me. On TikTok, I feel like pressure to come up with like sketch comedies and little like funny. Like I was making content for this one platform instead of just sharing what I'm working on platforms. You know. So when there was talk about the United States banning it, there is now talk about Microsoft, Redwood, Washington, organization, you know, Windows, Xbox, Azure cloud computing, taking over TikTok. The president said it himself, says it is a nice company, an American company. This right here, this is from Deadline Hollywood. There would be significant repercussions from presumed Microsoft acquisition. It would return the tech giant into advertising after years of moving forward in another direction. Frankly, there's no one around that can buy it. You know, if Facebook and Google are in courts right now nationwide, internationally, excuse me, about being too big, there's no social media that's worth acquiring to say, no, we're not big at all. Our competition is TikTok, right? So the only company I can think of will be either Apple or Microsoft. And it looks like Microsoft's biting the bullet. I'm a Microsoft guy. I'm Team Xbox. I didn't own a Zune or anything, but I'm Team Xbox. And I think that if it becomes a Microsoft product, I'll probably check it out. I'll probably reinstall it if I'm being honest with you. And it's not against like the Chinese government. I'm not like, oh, down China, but it is something to worry about. Like, you don't know how your data is being used or applied. So it's better not to do that. Not saying that Facebook is the paragon of private security. Oh, I'm multi-streaming this video on two different platforms with two different terms of services, right? Like, I'm not that worried about my privacy because, frankly, if you really want to find out about me, you can. I have a legal name, I have a legal address. Like, it's not that hard. Doxing is not hard, whatever. But the idea of like being used or weaponized is the deal breaker for me. And hopefully, if it becomes daytime, I might re-download. You know, Amazon has money to burn, but hey, what? Same thing. You know, when you're the richest man on the planet, Jeff Bezos, so rich that you bought the Washington Post with your pocket money. It's not even an Amazon unit. People are looking at you too. Like that is original content. Amazon, Twitch owner, you know, they own Twitch, they own IMDb, they own Without a Box back when there wasn't Without a Box. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? And like Derek Fisher says, he says, I love Rusev and Lana are on TikTok almost every day. If you can master that platform, I mentioned him just a minute ago. James Lott Jr. does tips and tricks on TikTok, but I could not figure it out. I couldn't find a way to make Flopito work on that platform. Excuse me. In fact, my biggest TikTok video was a duet. And for those of you not on the platform, a duet is when you take a video and it split screens, and you could do like a reaction or you could interact with that video side to side. So my biggest video was a duet of someone like an older white couple. I won't say older, like in their 40s, white couple making a rap, uh, washing their dishes, and I'm just rolling my eyes like this is so cheesy. And I got 30,000 views. But the thing is, it's like one, that's not really my comedy. I'm not really that mean spirited. And two, I don't know where these views coming from. I like to find the comfort of like clicking an Instagram post and being like, oh, Haywood 169 likes my post. That's awesome. I need that satisfaction to know that a real person, even though on Instagram it could be bots, likes my stuff. But on TikTok, it's like, here's the number. These people viewed it. But yeah, there's some people I found on there, like Francina Powell, or Miss Mindy. Was amazing on TikTok. She's like a surgeon that dances, like cool, really cool stuff. It's just not my jam, but I will probably revisit it because having it go through the motions and being acquired by an American company says that there are other things at stake. Now, commerce wise, um, uh, Charlie says I like the mic. I don't see the Mets picture. Go Cubs. You know what, Charlene? Just because of that, hold on. There it is. We'll just there it is. Go Mets. I just moved the Mets picture to show Charlene because I'm trolling her right now. She's cool people's though. Uh, but yeah, so it's political reason. People are saying that if TikTok got banned, that could probably be enough to boycott good old Trump because a lot of conservative voices are on Twitch, on Twitter, and on Facebook. They got their stuff banned, have moved to TikTok to express themselves. So it's kind of like shooting himself in the foot. Yeah, I'm watching baseball, man. The Mets won tonight. Losing record though. I'll be honest with you. I am tied to this organization. You cut me open. I bleed blue and orange. They are my team. They are my organization. I'm fanatical about the Mets. I'm not really fanatical about sports. I'm more of a casual fan. But that team just finds new ways to frustrate me, man. Just in the last weekend, I didn't even make baseball an episode because I talked about baseball last week. But just last weekend, bunch of losses. We lost 11-10 against the Braves. We were up 8-2 at one point. Cespedes opts out overnight. Whether you know this or not, either he said I'm not coming to work, packed his bags and left, and didn't say anybody, or he didn't, and the organization, the team was looking for him, not knowing where Cespedes was. So imagine this Sunday morning, getting up, seeing a message on ESPN. I think Haywood actually tagged in it too, being like, a player can't be found, and you're thinking, dude, we don't know it. Is it like a Corona thing? I mean, we've lost Nair Rivera and Chad Gaspar to the drowning. Is it something like that? Is Cespedes okay? Oh, he opted out. And then it's like, you can. I ain't knocking it. I went outside. I got my first haircut in like 6 months today, and I was scared the entire time. I understand that. But now all my Yankee fan friends are like, brah, the Mets are, brah. And now just today, in the game we won, 3 players got scratched. McNeil, and Cano and Rosario got scratched for tightness in their muscles and joints. And it's like, I can't win, man. I can't win. I gotta deal with people like Haywood one calling it the mutts or the debts or my entire team sucks. All right, Haywood, I'm enough of that. It's just difficult. It's difficult to be a Met fan these days. I on the West Coast though, I like the Padres. The Dodgers are cool too. Like I like the Dodger team. The Dodgers are fine. No, sorry, I take that back. I like the Dodger Stadium. I like the atmosphere. I like the facility at Angel Stadium, but I love walking the streets of San Diego during the game. That's like my jam. On the West Coast, I make a point to drive out to San Diego when the Mets are in town, which we don't know when they'll ever be in town again, but that's my thing. That's my jam. I just can't say any arrogance from Yankee fans, man. I swear, like people my age, so I'm in my 30s. People my age that are Yankee fans don't remember how bad, how awful that team was. Like that team from the Reggie Jackson days through the entire like Don Madden era, which were trash. But I have to deal with fans every day, be like, "How's your team going, bro? How's your team going? Sucks, just sucks." Anyway, still open questions for you guys. I'll answer anything you want to. In the meantime, I'm talking to you about the. Oh, Charlene said she goes to a Cubs San Francisco Giants game every year. That's cool. Yeah, that's what's up. I don't mind the Giants. The fans are annoying, but I don't mind them. They're cool. And the Cubs, again, like I don't hate the Cubs, but when I was a kid, So I say how old I am. When I was a kid, there wasn't a thing called interleague play, right? The National League played the National League, and the American League played the American League, except for the World Series, and that's why the World Series was a big deal. That's why the Subway Series World Series was a big deal, you know. So I was a Mets fan through and through, for sure. But I had my American League team because you had to pick one. You had to pick someone to root against the Yankees. Was the Chicago White Sox. So I don't hate the Cubs necessarily. I just have a more of an affinity for the Chicago White Sox because I wanted to be Frank Thomas when I was a kid. And for some reason, I have a weird like affinity for Oakland. Like I don't know why. Like I don't see many games. I don't know any players on the roster. I just feel like I don't know. That'd be a cool team to root for. you know, if they got to the playoffs, it would be my sentimental favorite, the Oakland Athletics. Yeah, but yes, yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. Just about the DJ thing, real quick. People are asking about that. The DJ side of things. It's just a recap. Things are weird for me as a wedding DJ because weddings aren't really happening with the quarantine and all that. And luckily for me, I've only gotten one cancellation. That's when they say we're done. We got a lot of our schedules, and that alone has its own challenges because you're not working now, and then you're not going to be able to get another wedding on that date in the future because you are using old deposits on that date. So you're basically working twice for the same amount of money, right? But one thing I realized though, because I have a gig not this Saturday, next Saturday, which I am kind of nervous about for a bunch of reasons. One, I haven't practiced. This is August. I should be in like mid-season form, but I'm still kind of at home practicing or whatever, trying to get good. Is the fact that the pandemic is raging, especially in California, and it's like music's kind of changed too. Without festivals and without late night clubs and without the feeling of going out, I realized there's like no song of the summer. Like how remember back in 2017, like Despacito was like the jam. Like everyone was going Despacito. I was an unforgettable fan. The French Montana song. And there are just some tracks now, like Girls in the Hood or whatever. But like I miss the summertime bangers, the one where you got your car cleaned, you roll the windows down, you roll cruising, you're blasting it, hollering at people that don't want to be hollered at. You know what I'm talking about? Like that, the summer jam, like the Can't Stop the Feeling were like the year after. Like I don't know. It's hard to have a song of the summer if you're inside all the time. If you're inside watching reruns, eating Netflix, watching Netflix, eating snacks, it's hard to be like, oh, this is my jam. I think that's going to be a challenge to figure out which ones have crossed over into like the wedding space. Yes, Haywood Wong, wear your mask, please. Now, I've noticed that I had to get like two different kinds of masks now. I have like my everyday street masks, like my whatever, whatever. But then when I do these events, I have like a formal mask that matches like a suit. You know, it's pretty cool. But yeah, keep your face covered. Again, I had my haircut today. I got my beard done because there's nothing up top here, right? I got bald really easy. Got my beard done today, and it was kind of nerve wracking because in California, at least in LA County, you can get your hair done, but it has to be outside. So they move the barber chair outside, it's roped off. You go under the rope. You had to sanitize your hands, and thankfully the guy wore a mask and a face shield because he wants to be careful too because he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know if I'm don't have it. But again, I went to get my beard done, so I could not wear the mask. If I was getting my hair done, sure. So like that was the first time I was exposed outside, and I waited as long as I could. But frankly, my beard was becoming a science experiment gone wrong. And I have a gig next week, so I want to be able to like at least look fresh for the client. You can only do maintenance for so long, and so I'm going there going like, hey man, I did every precaution I could. I'm not saying go with God, but I did every precaution I could. And I did the safe. I got home, pulled off my clothes, took a shower. You know what I mean? I did all I could, and that's all you can do really is to be safe. But if you're outside being like, oh man, I don't believe in wearing masks, like then that's on you, bro. That's on you. Charlene in the chat says, I'm making masks if anyone needs one mailed to them. Yeah, Charlene, if you have a website or a Venmo page or just a way people can contact you, I can say it on air right now, and that way people can check out support small business during this time. And that's what it's all about, man. If it's going to be tough for a while for a lot of people, creative especially. But I mean, what I do is very non-essential. But it's gonna be tough for a lot of people. Those who have disabilities, those that work basically on crowds, but those that are in my position where they have a need to share with other people things they're working on, but they can't do it, so they do it virtually. It's gonna be tough. So if you have any small businesses, a website, an order form, let me know so we can totally do that. Promote the home, support the homies. I didn't want to sell T-shirts. I was promoting those T-shirts for like 6 or 7 months, but when the pandemic hit, I was like, "Yo, for real, dude, we're getting some dope designs. We're not just putting my face on a shirt now. We're getting dope designs, and hopefully people can support that way because that's what helps us get through the days, the weeks, as the government figures out what to do with its citizens, which is pretty sad. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, if you have a website, if you have a way people can reach out to you on Twitch or Twitter, put your hand in the comments. I'll highlight it just like this, Charlene, so that way people can contact you when they're watching this video, and so they can hit you up for any kind of orders for masks. And I am not good at art. I actually talk about this. My first comedy CD, Cookies and Beer, which is available on Spotify, iTunes, and all that. There's a track called Shapes, where this is a true story, where I almost was in danger of not graduating high school because I didn't finish art class. Like I finished English, science, math, gym, health, but I could not finish art class. Moving before I finish my story. Charlene says, hit her up. I am NEZ1. That's letter I, letter M, letter N, letter E, Z, and 1. I am NEZ1 on Twitter. If you want that mask order, get yourself something nice. Put some pictures on that Twitter, Charlene. Pin that tweet so people can see what it looks like. And so they can probably order a couple. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I was saying that is that when I was in high school, my exit interview, they said, "Hey, Flobo, you gotta pass art class if you want to graduate high school." And I said, "Okay." So imagine this: my last semester in high school, I went to Madison. For those of you in New York, I went to Madison, and Madison is known for a bunch of things. James Madison High School in Brooklyn is known for being the high school for Martin Landau, Frank Torrey, Bernie Sanders, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Andrew Dice Clay, a bunch of people. But now, if you Google the phrase "horn dog high," my school comes up because for some reason in the 2000s, a lot of teachers got frisky with the students. Wasn't the case when I was going. No one was touching me when I was going to high school. But apparently, ever since I left, it went hog wild over there. So as you can imagine me in my final semester of high school, trying to pass art class, and I couldn't do it. I was failing art. I was failing art, and I couldn't get out because to this day I can't cut bagel in half. I can't fold paper. Can't do origami, and I had to basically cheat to get out. And I will tell people I cheated because I did. Paid someone off for my art homework so I can graduate high school because I wasn't gonna be left back for art class. And the reason why I'm telling you that story, the reason why I said all that stuff, one, I'll never be president now because you can clip this out and use it against me. But two, I can't make masks to save my life. So hit up Charlene. I am an easy one on Twitter, so she can make you your mask so you can be fly in this quarantine pandemic lockdown 2020. I'm just saying. Hit it up. Let's see. A question out here from the audience. What are the yearly AfterBuzz review interviews like? I am not sure what that means. Review interviews. I'm not sure what that means. If you mean like becoming a host at AfterBuzz, if you guys want to hear that story, I can tell you the process for that. But yeah, any questions about hosting or wrestling or whatever, you got me hanging out with you. It's Wassup Flobo After Hours. Again, so glad that there's an audience here here to ask questions. I had thought that I'd be doing this to no one in particular. This is why I have like 10 news stories here that I've gone through because I didn't think anyone would be here. But if you guys have questions, that's something I can help you out with. You can let me know. Also, though, in the meantime, as those questions come rolling in, I want to talk to you about this PlayStation 5, man. Looks fly. I'm an Xbox guy, so I don't care that much. I know Evan Mack is a friend of mine, friend of the show, friend of The Bump, is a PS2, PS4 person. Um, oh, hold on real quick. I'll get to that in a second, Charlene. So there's this whole thing about backwards compatibility. The PS5 is the most advanced machine, but the PS4 controllers won't even work on it. I get it. PS5 is advanced, but you can imagine some poor haggard grandmom buying their kid the system and is confused about what works and what doesn't. I don't know. That is just crazy. I can't tell you how confusing to the marketplace that would be, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft simply has it in a bank. Charlene asked for some clarification. End of the year, Kevin says he meets with everyone to talk. That is kind of a loaded statement. There isn't like, now granted, I've been in AfterBuzz for about a year and a half, and there isn't like a grand exit interview. Or there isn't a grand interview like, okay, now it's time for your yearly evaluation. It's not that at all. What it is, you can call Kevin. He gives you his number pretty openly. He goes text him if you want to, but good luck trying to really get him down. Like you can text him on Monday, and on Friday he'll give you little bits of advice, and that's pretty much it. Your chats with Kevin are pretty much on the fly. There isn't a sit down to it. It's kind of like, hey Kevin, you see my stuff? He goes, oh yeah, I see your stuff. You're great. I remember this. My interview was January. I was arguing with Vito, who worked at AfterBuzz. If you guys don't know who Vito is, he was on the show called Hall of Fame Wishes. Kevin pulled me aside and said, I like this. I want you to do a video about this. This was when I was saying MVP was the best character of all time, even before his return. And he sat me down and was like, Flo, you're doing good things. Let's be strategic about it. And I didn't quite know what that meant, but I was like, man, fine, the boss is about it, And he told me some things I took on. He's like, grow your beard out. I did. He goes, try to get yourself involved in other shows except for wrestling. I was already doing that, but hey, that means I'm on the right track. And he said, always check in and try to write more articles in AfterBuzz. And I said, okay, but I didn't. I didn't quite appreciate AfterBuzz's written written quality. A lot of their articles could be a lot better, so that's why I kind of opted out of that. But that's pretty cool. And also AfterBuzz does these things called summits, where every 4 months or so they'll have stations at the studio. They'll have like get your headshots taken here, get teleprompter training with Maria over here, listen to Kevin Onagaro's speech here, and then he has signups for that. And those are also one-on-one interviews, but it's really first come first serve. And a lot of times the eager hosts go multiple times. So I can tell you there's some hosts have had three interviews, whereas I've only had one my entire time I was there. That's why it's hard to say that, Charlene, but it's a very good question. I appreciate the question. Um, yeah, man, Vito with the dress. No, I'm just kidding. Vito Scuti. You can follow him on Twitter at vscuti. One of the better producers, man. He was so about it, so energetic. I really liked him a lot. Worked on Popcorn Talk. We had a show called Hall of Fame Wishes, which was a Kevin Undergaro idea. Didn't quite understand it because I don't think he quite understood it either. But we did it. You can look on AfterBuzz. It's called Hall of Fame Wishes, Hall of Fame Snubs, and then it became Hall of Fame Wishes, tournament bracket of people not in the WWE Hall of Fame. And we'd argue about back and forth who should go and who shouldn't. And Vito ran the booth, and he was the game master, and he would kind of add a comedic element. And when AfterBuzz closed down or hiatus, I'm doing quotes and quotes, but I'm gonna say closed because it's closed for me. Because as far as I'm concerned, my visible contract ends at SummerSlam. When it closed down, of all the people that I worry about the most. Of all the people, I'm like, man, I hope they land their feet. I hope they get something new. Is definitely Rye Guy and definitely Vito. Like those two, those Pennsylvania boys, they do a lot and for the network, and they listen to my crazy ramblings about MVP and wrestling, and they are always open to ideas. They're always, let's try this, and a lot of the producers don't get enough credit because they're not only in the booth too, they also run the cameras and they set up the room. So every show sometimes gets turned over. You may see we only had 4 studios at AfterBuzz. So between shows, they would change the logos, or they would like change the mic placements, or if it was a different network, if it was a popcorn talk show, they'll like take off like the mic skirts and put them on. And I always made a point to get there early enough, like get my water, my seltzer, on my table, and if I have to fix my mic, I will do it myself. There were so many hosts that saw the fact that we're in a studio and it went right to their heads. I'm not naming names, but a lot of the younger hosts, they will come in, they will sit down and go, uh, "Hey producer, can you get me some water?" And the producer is like trying to like make the show ready to go. Okay, sure. Hey producer, this mic, I don't like this mic. Hey, can you clean his headphones? Like they were just, you could tell who were the divas and who were people that did AfterBuzz just for something to do, versus those that are from a background where they, hey, look, if you're on the team, you do rookie stuff first. You carry the bags, you learn the ropes, and when you build yourself, then you can be the hot shot and say, I want to do this idea, I want to do that idea. You know, I think so, Charlene. I think they got paid a stipend, a very small stipend. They got paid, but the host did not. The hosts do not get paid at AfterBuzz, which is why we take your crap in the chat. Now I'm just kidding. So that's why I always have a lot of love for the hosts. I think a lot of the hosts of color too, like J Lo and Josh, they got a lot of disproportionate amount of commands. So I always try to be as cool with them. They're cool people. I always try to be as nice as I can to them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because look, nothing wrong with a little kindness. Look at Ellen, the generous. Kindness was her brand. Kindness was something that Ellen was known for. And what happened over the last week? News broke that the show at first had producers that were not kind to their staff and guests. And for a second there, it looked like it was going to be over. Ellen puts a video and saying, "Hey, look, I was the captain of the ship. Things isn't going as I thought. Maybe I'll step back in and be kind from now on." And she got dragged in social media because celebrities and other guests were saying, one, it's your ship. Two, you're not the best person to be around. Come on, Ellen. Come on, son. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I remember as a kid, before Ellen, the Queen of Nice was Rosie O'Donnell. Same thing. My former sister-in-law worked for Rosie O'Donnell. And I can tell you, that's all a gimmick. The being the Queen of Nice is not really true. Not to say you have to be nice all the time. I'm not saying everyone needs to be nice and kind. But if that's your brand, and that's your brand, you know what I'm saying? So I hear these stories. I'm like, look, man, whatever happens to me, whatever my career goes, wherever I get signed, if I get signed, probably not get signed. For those asking about the WWE thing, there is a connection between AfterBuzz and WWE. It is not as a direct line as people think there is. There's no producer being like, I'm taking you, and you. Everyone who's got signed by WWE from AfterBuzz was working on other things. They got recognized, and that's why they got pulled. You know what I'm saying? So I had worked with Kathy Kelly, but I heard she was nice. And I've worked with Quasto. He can be nice for sure. I didn't work with Kat Donica. I worked with Hobo after the fact. He was nice. But what I'm saying is that I want people to say, hey, Flo may not be the most famous guy on the block or the funniest or has the most entertaining show, but damn it, he treated me with respect. He was kind, and he made me laugh at least once. That's the goal I have, and because it matters. It matters, man. It matters more than everything. Especially now we're in a small environment where there's so few gigs. Everyone's trying to look out for their buddies to get them work. Do you want somebody who treated you like a slave, that demanded you to get your water when you were a producer at AfterBuzz? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. It's I don't know. To me, it's standard operating procedure, but maybe I'm just an old fashioned fuddy duddy. I'm 30 plus, going on 75. I just do know how it is. But yeah, that's the AfterBuzz. I feel like I talk about AfterBuzz every week. I don't know why I do that, but I kind of do. I think Kathy Kelly is focusing on her own brand at home, especially with the pandemic. A lot of hosts have started their own channels. If you guys don't know, Hobo is on Patreon at patreon.com/sandwichchamp. George Hermosa launched his page last week called The Wrestling Chatter. Jack Farmer has his page. Leslie has Cafe Con Leslie. You guys already know me at Flobo on YouTube. You guys are already here. That's kind of the deal. It's like without that central thing, and I'm seeing Quasto now too. You see him doing the Throwback Thursdays to his old comedy career. Hopefully, he goes back to that. He actually recorded an album. He recorded an album before he got signed. I'm not sure if it's my place to say this, but I'm aware of it. And he pulled it. He pulled it before he got signed, and hopefully he gets to be released. Kathy is not. You know what? I don't think Kathy Kelly knows I'm alive. I don't. I'm not just in the bad way. We don't follow each other on social media. A lot of the fans in the chat are like, "You remember Kathy Kelly?" I'm like, "No." you know, I don't know how many shows of Raw has she done. I'm aware of her. I've covered her in NXT. I might just say what's up, but I don't think that Kathy is gonna call me anytime. What would she say? Like, what would she like? Like, hey, hey, Flobito, it's me, Kathy. What's up? You down to watch Pokemon? Like, I don't know what she's into. I don't even know what the deal is with that. Um, yeah, yeah, fun dad, John Quasto. I knew Quasto and Christian Rosenberg around the same time back in 2010. We're both in professional wrestling, championship wrestling from Hollywood. And that's what we got together doing that. So it's kind of cool to see Fun Dad, John Quasto, go the comedy and wrestling route, and then see Josh Tariff, Christian Rosenberg go the improv and wrestling route, and we all came back around full circle. Yeah, again, I hear that Kathy Kelly's really nice. That's what I keep hearing. I've heard other things, but definitely overwhelmingly, she's nice. And that's great. That's great for the brand. That's great for everything else. About to be wrapping up here. Just, what's up, Flobo After Hours? Hit there wrapping with you guys. Final questions, let me know. But in the meantime, just want to say, look, I am all over the internet, right? We're talking about Twitter at Flobo Boys. Launched a private Instagram. That's at Flobo Boys as well. Park that too. At Flopito on Instagram. Follow me there. Uh, YouTube.com/FloboBoys, Patreon.com/FloboBoys, Twitch TV/FloboBoys, where I just casted the Rocket League tournament on Sunday. It was so much fun casting Rocket League. Love that game. Love the fact I get to be the host and commentate on that. Other projects happening down the pipe. New Amsterdam Radio airs every Wednesday night into Thursday, right here on YouTube and on wherever you stream. And I am doing great things. Is Dream still NXT officially? Yes. Velveteen Dream is still officially on the NXT roster. Will he be used? Well, I don't know. Maybe he might be going the Forgotten Sons route, being put on ice, as controversy has flirted with both Velveteen Dream and the Forgotten Sons this pandemic. So maybe they'll be introduced or reintroduced later. I still think that they're in there. Oh man, thanks, Derek, for sure. You know what's funny? He's saying, Derek says, Jack Farmer and Leslie Colon are our favorite AfterBuzz hosts. New? I'm just kidding. I totally am new. That Raw team, I love Jim Alexander, and I love Evan, I love TK, and that show is special. The Raw show with Jim Alexander and TK and Evan and Jack, that was special because it was like hot talk, it was like water cooler talk. That was amazing. But I also felt like the Leslie Colon, Jack Farmer, myself trifecta, granted there's only 4 episodes, was like a whole different, fresh energy, real fresh energy, which I appreciated. And I hope that we had more episodes that way, but wasn't meant to be. So, to recap, y'all, the Rockets bought the XFL. I'm contemplating going back into politics. Don't know what I'm doing with them. So glad the Guardians are back. Microsoft made by TikTok. Microsoft is huge. PlayStation 5 is alright, but I'm still might get the Xbox. I'm an Xbox guy for life. And SummerSlam may be outdoors. We don't know. Raw Underground was crazy. This is what's a Flobo after hours, man. About high time I go to bed or something. Because it's late on the West Coast. I don't want to begin to think out how late it is on the East Coast. But until next time, What's Up Flobo Classic is Wednesdays. What's Up Flobo also on Fridays. And After Hours is on Mondays. And I'm out. Tell a friend, wear a mask, wash your ass, say what's up to somebody you care about, and buy one of Charlene's masks. And I am an easy one. Peace.